ready?
Yeah, we're all good.
2 o'clock, we'll call the workshop of the Board of Supervisors to order. We're going to waive the pledge until the regular board meeting.
We'll get the right agenda up. This one's not the right one.
No.
Yeah, we can do that.
Oh, you're
Yes.
putting that, you're putting another agenda up?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Georgia didn't give me the workshop one, she just gave me this one. Come on. Agenda packet, there we go.
There we go, okay. A little bit less formal. Okay, how do we want to start this? We want to page by page, or
Let's start with.
you want to give us an update?
Yeah, let's do a brief update real quick. You sending it to Tony? Okay, I got it.
Everybody got a copy of it?
I just did.
Electronically.
Make sure it's got, I think it's version 4, yeah.
Okay,
That's the
so
same one we've had the last.
yeah, it's
meetings.
nothing. We haven't changed anything. So just a couple things. The board did task staff to go and ask the county if they would entertain taking over the Sherman Soccer Complex. They wouldn't even entertain a meeting or a conversation. They just said thanks, but no thanks. We're not interested. That doesn't align with our goals and objectives right now. So that being said,
well, at least we asked the question.
yes, we did ask the question. So, and I did get it in writing and back from their Parks and Recreation director. The second thing that you tasked us with is Stephen Bloom and Laura to start to look at our capital projects that we removed, like the fields or any other large capital projects that we had planned or we moved out, looking at the financing options for that. Stephen Bloom did receive 2 options back. Well, we really have 3 options. So we always have the bond, the 2023 bond validation that we did. So as long as the projects fall within those categories that were part of the bond validation, you have that.
Did it have to be identified specifically on that bond validation to be included?
The bond validation was pretty vague, that it had broad stroke categories. The bond series, if you chose to take out another one, is where you would be specific and detailed. So, like for instance, in the bond validation, we said stormwater, like swale reclamation, cleaning of our storm drains, things like that. We didn't say which basins that we were going to do. As we took out the bond series, we said, okay, this is for this specific basin because we want to have this cleaned.
So fill in the category, it could be delineated later.
Yes. So that's an option. So there's still funding available as part of that bond validation. We have Stephen Bloom received a 5-year bank option and a 10-year bank option. The 5-year option was a 72-month term. It's at a 4.74 fixed for the term interest. The 10-year option was, obviously, it's a 132-month term at a 5.33% fixed for the term. So we have those options available if the board wishes us to continue to pursue.
Is there a limit?
We just identified the projects that we had put, so I think it was, I'd have to go back and look at the email chain with him. We only specified those couple of projects, so we could just go back to the bank if there were additional projects or if you wanted to remove projects from that potential capital project.
So these were projects that we could take and eliminate upfront capital to debt retire.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was that, and then the other item, which was a carry forward from a couple meetings ago, you all had asked about the interest or the rates from the county, right? Because we knew that they were hitting us with every year for 5 years and 8%.
Talking about utility.
Yes, for utilities. I did get confirmation. So effective December 1st of this year, we will have the 8%, the 4 and 4. They're trying to expedite those and move those up even sooner if possible. Then what they're proposing in 10-1 of 26 is a 16% increase.
At one time?
For that 1 year, and then each year thereafter, 12% increase on top.
Geez.
So that is what they're pursuing. I told them that they need to give us at least, a 1 or 2 month time frame. Their Board of County Commission take the month of July off. If they get something on their board docket, it takes them 45 days. So how we incorporated our rates, we said basically anything that they hit us with, it's going to be a pass through to our residents. But those are some big numbers that we're looking at in the future.
We're a retail buyer from them.
Bulk sale, yes.
Wholesale buyer from them. What's their justification that was done in the way of any capital that we should be a part of, that we're picking up the tab?
We asked that last time and
That's ridiculous.
we're a user to them.
So what's the difference then between a wholesale user and any user? Because that's what you do with any users.
Yeah.
Wholesale users, that's what you do that for.
Yeah.
Is because we go out and if they have improvements either in their collection or distribution system or in their plant that impact us, we pay our pro rata share, whether it be peak, average, flow, whatever.
Yeah.
But if they are running lines up in the north end of the county to serve the upside of Cape Coral, that has nothing to do with us.
I don't disagree.
There's no justification for that.
I can ask the question again if, in the event
I
that
think we
these
ought to challenge it.
rates do.
I mean, you're talking inside 7 years, 100% increase.
Yeah,
This is crazy.
yeah.
Do we
So
know what they're spending it on? Is that public knowledge?
Well,
there's.
they have to provide that, but that would sure as hell be nice to know.
Yeah.
Put it out to our people. There are elections coming up in that 7-year period.
Yeah.
And the commissioners got to understand, you just don't take and palm off on Gateway willy-nilly all these increases to satisfy problems you got in other parts of the county because you didn't take and have impact fees to pay for it.
I know I think.
Damn sure
a
sounds like
handful-
parks.
Do what?
I think we're a handful of both users that they have, so that's absolutely a question that we can go back and ask when the
We
time
might want
comes.
to contact the other bulk users
Yeah.
and create a
Well,
little.
the problem is some of the other bulk users are benefiting from these rate increases directly.
Well, that would be
i.e.,
nice to know. They could take our share.
i.e. Fort Myers Beach with the Fort Myers Beach water treatment plant that was done for with Ian, so.
This is ridiculous.
Anyway, I
And
just
they're
wanted.
not, Kevin, that's not with recovery funds or?
They are,
FEMA funds and
they are
things?
pursuing recovery funds. I've asked the same questions, Bob, because the grants that we're applying for,
Yeah.
they should be applying for, so,
I mean, these are unsustainable increases. I mean, my God.
Well, the first thing you'd like to do is find out what is it that they're
Yeah.
doing? That, is this operating cost or is it capital
Capital.
or both? It's capital.
Capital.
And
Well, and then they have,
that's something's fishy.
So
We
they
need to
have-
know what that is.
Well, it's probably infrastructure.
yeah,
More water and sewer lines, more roads, more whatever.
But my point is that if we've already bought in and we have our capacity, and keep in mind, our capacity isn't changing.
No, we're not.
We aren't
We're there.
growing, so we're static,
slightly.
We're static.
We have a little growth left,
minimal.
minimal, compared
But
to
these
what.
other people that are putting in new facilities that require new treatment plant expansion and/or distribution lines, that, if it's a line that goes through Gateway or by Gateway, then I would say, yes, we would participate to some percentage. But if it's a line that's not, doesn't have anything to do with our distribution system, in the case of water or a collection system, that doesn't fly. Something's wrong here.
Anyway,
And
I just,
that could become a political issue, because people around Gateway that have been satisfied, very well satisfied over the years with our low utility rates, And two, how are we doing them? And my deal is that we now have a financial thing that comes back. All we need to do is pick whether they go into a 5-year bond or a 10-year bond.
Well, if it's a 10-year, it still has to fall under those categories from the bond validation.
Tony has his hand
Yeah, but my
raised.
point is that I don't want to take and have an item that we classify as a 10-year bond that's got a 5-year life. So I want to make sure that we put the right thing in the right category.
The projects that were given to Stephen Bloom had an extended life that would be beyond.
Okay, and right now, those items that are of capital nature, that are in that deal, are not in this current deal, correct? So anything that we add back in as capital, even if it's bond-related, 5-year or 10-year, it adds to the cost.
Yeah, what I would recommend is that we look at, some of these larger projects, that we package them up as projects, and then probably another workshop, we go through and we approve those projects to be incorporated.
Unless we do it
Well,
next year.
and either way, if you did a bond series, or if you did a 5-year bank loan, the repayment of that wouldn't hit
Yeah.
this go around.
Because the funding source through the bond wouldn't necessarily hit
So it's
the next
what you're
fiscal
saying is
year.
it's not a 2026
Start
issue.
spending.
Until you start spending, yeah, but my point is, because I think some of these need to be deliberately packaged, because I think that's the most fiscal responsible thing to do with some of these larger projects, is amortize them over time. But then we also need to approve them.
Yes.
I'm just trying to get an idea. What is the dollar volume and what are the projects that we're talking about that make up this list?
Okay, hold on, I'll tell
What
you right
are
now.
those projects?
Tell you right now.
So one will be Parks and Rec.
So one is the $500,000 for the Sherman Soccer Complex parking lot. Had the $160,000 of the pool decking. We had $100,000 of the digital message board. We had $1 million for turf upgrades, and then $150,000 for the dog park, which the turf.
That's all
the
Parks
turf-
and Rec improvement projects.
Yeah, which the turf could drastically change based on some of the estimates.
So
we had.
you're talking $2 million.
It could-
Tony has his hand raised. I don't know if we're past the point. He's had it up for a while. so.
Tony?
Oh, Tony's online?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
he's muted though.
You unmute him?
I can't. I tried. I can lower his hand, but I can't. Tony, I saw your hand. You're still muted.
Can you unmute?
You're still
I think he's
muted.
trying.
Because I think the way it works is, we've identified a project, the Parks and Rec improvement project, includes all those things. And I think we agree in maybe in principle that that is a project. We'll put that in this bucket, and then we will need to go back through and either package a bond series, or maybe before that, it's approved what items we want in there. We may not want all these items, we may, whatever. And then when we have the funding source, then we approve again. So there's multiple cycles or iterations in the process before it actually gets funded and has to be absorbed through some type of source.
Well, if we would take all of those, the 2 million, divide that by 10, that's $200,000 a year, throw in interest, you're at about 220. 220, that cost, $220,000. That's what we're talking, is the principal and interest.
The annual.
and Annual
Yeah.
bond cost that we are talking about here. That's it.
And we wouldn't see that realized until 2027.
Depending on your
That's what I
funding
don't know.
source. Depending on your funding source. So
Oh, yeah, so if it's bond series, it could be one, if we just funded it through,
You
just
start
A
paying.
bank loan.
A bank loan.
You just start paying.
Okay. And that could depend on which one is more desirable. If there's something that needs a sense of urgency, and we need to pull it forward. Okay.
So, and
Well, 220, be it 220 or 150 or 160 or 130,
It doesn't.
it doesn't make any difference. It's pocket change
Either-
on the difference.
either way, so I will tell you just the one initial estimate I received on artificial turf for those soccer fields was $5 million.
Yeah,
But that is, that's turnkey everything.
but here, if we're treating this as a project, what I would expect, each one of these items, there should be a write-up. What is our reason for doing it? What's the justification? What's the cost benefit? Like for the fields, that's a great example. I mean, it's if we make this, option one is we go sod, option two is we go turf. If we go turf, what is the benefit? All right, there's some, there's a reduction in maintenance and blah, 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 blah. And can we charge more of a premium? Would we be able to realize more revenue because the fields won't be shut down for, for weather conditions? So there's all those things.
Well, somebody needs to do an analysis of these two, both capital and operating costs for the next 10 years, 15-year life cycle to determine, because it may be that the capital of going to artificial turf is a little salty in the first 3 or 4 years, but then when you get on those out years, you start into all that maintenance and turf replacement, that cost goes through the roof.
So we actually have a call with the vendor tomorrow to ask all those questions. Angela's been brainstorming those, Paul and Angela have been brainstorming those. So we do intend on asking those, but I know like most of these artificial turfs are 15-year warranty, if not longer. And obviously, like we've talked about, we don't want to finance something longer than the life of whatever it is that we're doing, so.
Well, the other one is you gave a while ago, that 5 million. Was that 5 million compared with 2 million of turf replacement? Because I can't believe that it's that kind of a difference. I think
It was 4.5 to 5 mil difference, so I'm
But
waiting.
it's apples to apples, same acreage, same
I'm
area.
I'm waiting on a different vendor to give me a different quote for the same thing, so.
There's a lot of different solutions out there, and there's a lot of
Yes.
different quality of grade when you're talking about the turf. And I would also look at,
You've got an issue of drainage.
yeah,
What do you-
there's a lot of it.
How are you doing drainage on the astroturf?
Yeah.
That's all
Well, and
part of it.
drainage is an existing problem anyway, but even with the sod fields. But I would also look at cost benefit of 5 fields versus 3, because that's not uncommon around here.
To have half.
To have half and half.
So
It might be
that-
a cost.
That example is a perfect one where obviously we know we're not doing it this year. We need to do some homework on it. Some of the other projects that we have, Tetra Tech's designing or in design or close to finishing up the design. But to your point, Doug, yes, I think we do need to sit down and have a conversation about prioritizing these if at all, and packaging up as a whole deal, either through a bank loan or through a bond
And
series.
let me just add one more thing, and I hate to even bring it up, but if we're gonna make that type of investment, we may also in parallel look at potentially leasing those fields out to an organization, because we will get a much higher premium annually from an organization for doing that. We've had some interest in the past, but that could about be one of the only ways that we could maximize our revenue return on those fields.
So you're gonna try to generate extra revenue.
Yeah, exactly.
On the premise that you really don't damage the grass, if you artificial.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, but then you're just paying off, you're trying to, just increase your investment payback.
And we're doing the cost benefit of all of those things. We're on the 3rd year of the 3-year rate increase, looking at, are we doing what we said we were going to do with the rate increases? What's the potential moving forward? Yeah, we have had vendors come in and say, hey, I want to lease out the whole thing, but can I do that? So there's definitely alternatives to how we've been operating in the past.
And what's been restricted from us in the past is wear and tear. So you can't
Right.
max them out. You can't have a maxed wear and tear. What turf would provide, you could literally go a minute, all the way till 11 o'clock at night.
Yep.
And
Well, you just can't expect the same return and revenue on turf as you're going to do.
It'd be much higher.
yeah, and you got to shut down during the summers. I mean, there's all those things. But is that worth
Now,
the initial
Now,
investment?
what about lights? Where's the lighting at? Is that in that too, or is that in addition to?
We're talking turnkey when we're talking to these vendors. So
Yeah, I mean, is lighting included in any of our budgets now, or is
Yeah.
that yet to be added?
we're not doing any upgrades. We're just maintaining what we have up
Yeah,
there.
and it's saying we don't have any existing dollars in our existing budget allocated for light enhancement.
Just repair and maintenance. If the
Repair
light
and
bulb
maintenance, okay.
goes out, we replace it.
Because that's another $2 million anyway.
So like I said, when we're talking to these vendors, we're talking turnkey, we're talking drainage, we're talking, if we do half and half, is it irrigation? What's the lines, the warranty on it, what is their maintenance on it. I know in conversations I've had in the past, depending on the usage, there might be minimal maintenance, but like I said, our first call is tomorrow, so we'll have a little bit more information, but this is,
Well, we need to know not only the information you're coming up with on this, but we need to know what way we're going on that turf to make a decision to get from these people that would be interested in quoting us the deal to find out,
There's a lot of moving parts.
yeah, there's a lot of things we don't know that we need those answers before we make a decision.
Can you also ask, is there any price consideration if you are converting an existing field versus an undeveloped field?
You would hope that it would be better financially.
Well,
Why would you want to
Well,
say
the reason I
that?
was asking is because we have the space behind. There's additional field, or additional space behind field 5. That's where you talk about maybe putting a public works or parking or whatever. I'm just curious, if you were building something new out, if you could add 2 additional fields at almost the same cost as it would be to convert, well now you've had, a 25% increase in your inventory that could help maximize our
Offset that cost.
yeah, revenue.
I don't know how often we refurbish the fields.
And then-
but we have never done a full.
What do we spend annually on patches, so to speak? We have an
About
5-year
100
average?
About between 70 to 100,000.
Oh, nothing compared to the 5 million, okay.
And that's spot repairs, and are you also including the deton and
But on 5
all,
million.
all field maintenance?
But on 5 million, you do it one time.
Well, yeah, I'm with you, but if we spend 100,000 a year, well, if you get a 15-year field,
There's your money.
Yeah.
There's your money.
but if we're not spending anything now, and it's just a 5 million outlay.
Yeah.
And it was,
Let's-
and we're almost to that
let's-
point of where you've hit almost failure when it comes to those fields, where they just won't, the regeneration of those fields because of the soil, the roots don't have anything to grab onto, it's just, it's a never-ending repetitive cycle
I
of
will
very
say-
low gain.
And then we just retire them for a period of time, 30 days, 60 days.
Every
90
summer,
days.
yeah. Angelo has done a fantastic job with getting them to where they are today, which is better than, the last year or even 2 years ago. So we're continuing to make improvements with, what we have, but I think the year I started here, I recall hearing a presentation that these fields were overutilized with hours and little feet on them, but we've never done a full sod replacement, and it's how many years old?
30?
So, anyway.
Almost.
So we're contemplating all of these different things, there's a lot.
Not during the workshop.
Yeah.
So this is very, very preliminary. Again, we're just trying to do some due diligence and be able to bring something to you in the coming months.
I'd like to see the numbers because the long-term advantages of going the artificial, especially if they offer an opportunity to get additional revenue through a contract, I think needs to be done because, like you said, it's 30 years, but I mean, the golf course over there is 38 years. You just don't throw it out. But you do have the issue of you have to rejuvenate it, and which means that usually means setting it aside or having downtime,
Yeah, well-
which is loss of revenue.
Yeah, well, and 2, we almost stay away almost 100% of any type of adult leagues or anything like that.
More
Because
damage.
more damage. But on turf, it doesn't matter. I mean, there's adult leagues that run, that don't start till 9, 10 o'clock at night. Just
What,
don't know.
what is
So-
the,
When we're looking at this though, don't we need to start looking at this as a revenue source
Yes,
rather than
Yes.
just an amenity that is there? and
that's
we
the
have
subsidy.
to
That's the only way this board would
subsidize it?
even have any potential without getting hung, is if we tie this improvement, and there's a portion that is for the benefit of the community, and I think they'll tolerate that to a certain point. But the amount that we're talking about for complete renovation, there has to be a revenue stream that is tangible to the residents. Okay, I'm willing for us to front the bill on this because we're going to get this back through either enhanced services, and more importantly, offset costs because of X, Y, and Z.
you got to offset costs.
So I like the direction of that thought. I think that subsidizing going into the future is not the way to handle those fields. I think they should be a revenue source. So what do we have to do to make them a revenue source? And I don't mean break even, I mean a revenue source that we make
Well, what we do is,
3%,
I mean, if
5%
it was
every
me,
year,
I'd say,
quote unquote profit.
I would look at what is the percentage of use and benefit directly by residents? And that's like my kid being able to go out there and play, or go to the playground, or participate in a league that I would have to drive or go somewhere else. What is that percentage? That percentage is the amount that I don't care if it's recoverable, because that's part of the amenity expense. But everything else, that's where we need to have a revenue strategy for that. Because again, residents are only tolerant for so much. You know?
And I think issues like parking and food disbursement, all that has to be
All of it.
a part of the picture.
I agree.
And it has to be a revenue source, not a subsidy anymore.
When they were giving you the quotes for going artificial, what's the base? Are they blacktopping it, or how are they, what's the base?
I have a call with them tomorrow. This is the same vendor I reached out to when I was back at the beach, when we were contemplating it there. This is their bread and butter, so we have a follow-up call with them tomorrow to find out more information. I said, I just need a budget number. If, obviously, if we proceeded with this, we would have to have plans put together, and we would have to bid it. We would ultimately just have to bid it.
How do we move water off those fields right now? There's no appreciable,
There is.
it's minimal.
Well, some are better than others, but.
Do we have drain inlets on the sides?
There's drain, well, it
Yes.
drains into a net, yeah, into.
On a swale?
Yeah,
That drains into the swale, and then there's some bubblers that go like to the back and then over to the wetland
Do
over
they
here.
go- Do they go into a storm sewer system, or is it
No.
percolation?
Percolation. The only
And I would
source-
say it's better today than it was 5 years ago. I mean,
We need to be able to take that water and get it into our pond system.
yeah, but Ed, you also have to realize, there's 5 fields over there. I bet you there's probably 3 different material makeup in each one, so they all drain
mean
differently.
soils?
Yeah, the soil
yeah.
composition, they all drain differently.
Yeah.
So you try to design a solution for one area, works here, doesn't work here, and it's just a complete nightmare. So you got one that's really dry, one that's really wet. I mean, that's been part of the problem too.
Who's the company?
$5 million is the real number, whether it is or isn't, that's the real number. And our current average costs are $100,000 a year. That's a mountain you can't get over.
400,000.
Probably 100.
just for the maintenance itself, not like the overall cost, just for like the actual
Well, I want to compare apples and oranges. Are those other costs going to be inherent if we go artificial, or do they go away?
Not necessarily.
Some, not necessarily. So like right now, we have
So-
automated mowers, we have fertilizer, those things.
Okay, got it. That's the
Most of
soft
that
cost
is-
that you need to know that.
Most of that is that maintenance.
So then that gives us a
Those things
number.
come away.
And then if you can project future revenues by opening it up at night, then it might start to close the gap.
Yes.
But the 100,000, 5 million, that's just, you can't get there.
Yeah,
I
If
think
it's
you're kidding
400,000,
yourself if you think this is going to be an immediate return. It's a long-term deal that you've got to buy into, that this is cost effective.
well, I can accept the long term, but I want to make sure when I get there,
Yeah.
that I'm getting what I
That, yeah,
want.
that you're getting to what you were
Right.
told you were going to get.
But the
There you
problem
go.
is, like right now, is we're at almost maximum usage.
And I
We
understand.
can't go any further
I understand.
without terminal damage.
But your thought process and knowledge of this, because I have none, is that were the fields available, you think we could
Yeah.
And this-
generate revenue?
So to give you an example, Bob, the fields have been shut down this summer. Kids are out this summer. Leagues happen in the summer. Yeah, it's 100 degrees out, but we're losing 2.5, if not 3 months of potential revenue because we're shut down.
These
I'm
are
with you.
camps and,
Yeah.
I like all that.
Tournaments, just a lot of stuff.
I just don't want to spend 5 million to save 100,000. If we're
Yeah.
spending 5 million,
And-
and at the end of the 5 years, the cumulative cost would have been 20, then that makes a lot of sense.
And we're looking at all of those things because, you know,
Okay.
we have increased our revenue from 2 years ago, from last year. I think our goal this year was to try to get to the 50%, and I think we're gonna come darn near that number. Right now, we're collecting,
Would you stay with Facilitron?
That we're looking at because of the pickleball courts at the Commons in the future, so we're looking to see if there's an alternative program that we could utilize, because the Facilitron is more just of a reservation system. It's not really of a membership or of a, you know, you come through if you're a resident or you're not a resident. So maybe.
Okay, I don't know what system you use at Pelican, but it's very effective. We've got a great reservation.
Yeah, I took note of it when I attended one of your coffee talks, so we're looking into all those programs right
That's
now.
very robust.
I don't know what it means, but the country club completely stopped the development of the additional pickleball courts on the basis of this being built.
Of ours being built?
Oh, are they gonna give us some money?
Is there a sponsorship opportunity?
I think they're doing is just they're locking what they've got in their own pocket. In other words, they're just not gonna spend the money, they're just going to let members come over here and use the CDD part.
And I'm sure those residents won't
Everything's
mind
stopped.
paying those.
Well, Pelican will probably close up some of theirs, and what the hell.
I told them, I said, I hope you guys understand what you're getting into. There is one heck of a lot of people that are gonna be fighting to use those courts.
Yeah.
So what do you
5,000
know that,
per-
what do you know that the rest of us don't know?
New topic, the
Now,
$40,000 for Lee County cameras.
Yes, so I did reach out to the sheriff's office. When I approached the subject of, hey, we shouldn't be footing the bill, I didn't really get a response back. I told them, I said, if you don't take it on, then we probably will just stop paying it. What he did tell me, and they are gonna come to your next meeting, the county, the sheriff's office went away from the flock cameras and they went to a Motorola camera, which is more reasonably priced. And so he was going to get an estimate from the Motorola rep to see and present that to the board. That way, if you don't want to pay $40,000, there's a lesser option, or you don't pay them all and you do away with them.
Well, forgive me, but I missed it. All I heard when they offered it was free.
So it
And that was
was,
the installation, I now got it. But I didn't hear the, in the back pocket, oh, it's
Backside.
$10,000 a month.
so regarding the free that he mentioned at one of the president council meetings, the county procured 10 of those cameras, and that's why they were free to those certain communities. So somebody paid for them still, but they weren't totally free. So with us, the flock cameras were installed before I started here, but they are to the tune of $40,000. That's why the sheriff was away from those. So we're going to present, they're going to come here, the captain is going to come present the options to you in case you want to mix it or go with a lesser cost.
Did they have any
Yeah.
concrete examples of benefits to
Well,
our residents for our 40 grand?
I asked them to bring those statistics. I will tell you, just off the top of my head, the 7-Eleven robbery that happened a couple months back, they immediately went to those flock cameras in order to catch the license plate and the information of the people that were involved in that. So
No
I'm very
arrests made on
concerned
that.
about 7-Eleven, but I'm not $40,000 concerned.
I understand. So they will be coming at the August 7th meeting.
Go back to the fields. We've got what we consider an expert giving us the alternative of going artificial. Who is the expert that's giving us the information that we need to hear of what it takes to get those fields back to compare apples and apples of a 15-year life versus a 15-year life? Because the last thing I want, or the thing I'd rather hear now, is that if we go with the current fields and in the cost and price analysis, we put a 7-year out doubling of the cost again to do the fields because they don't make 15-year life. Now, all of a sudden, that totally changes the cost analysis.
Yeah.
We need to have somebody come in here, don't just tell us we can do a park or do a grass or sod deal for 1.5, 2 million versus 5, when he's gonna tell me in 7 years, you're gonna spend the 2 million again.
Sounds like Zenner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also too, I mean, we should be looking at both options.
We are.
Because there are, I mean, there's really good turf out there now that's more resilient. I mean, the turf that is JetBlue, I mean, my kid plays, their fields are basically in the overflow parking when it's training season. So when it's training season, they kick all the leagues out and everyone parks their car there for 3 months. And then when it's done, they give it about a month. It bounces back and all the kids come back. I mean, we've never had a problem with it. But they use different turf and they've got whole teams.
You've got drainage over there.
Yeah, they got drainage.
You get drainage.
Yeah.
So we've solicited from the out of
But
county.
who's our authority
We
that
have-
we're gonna check with to get the sod side of this cost?
We have, so we're asking the sod side of both vendors. So JSM, who's our current vendor who maintains the fields, who also maintains JetBlue over there, they're giving us proposals, and then the outside firm is giving us another proposal as well.
So we got at least two comparisons.
At least two, I'm looking for.
I just
a
want to
third.
make sure that they understand that this is a 15-year analysis, which is the only way it's ever going to work on that
Agreed.
artificial side.
Yeah.
Then we need to have the turf side be a 15-year analysis. And if that requires halfway through,
Redoing it.
we redo it, then put that in the analysis and see how the ship floats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're working. Again, we're super preliminary, but we're working towards that.
Going back to my cameras,
Okay,
the 40,000 was the Pelican cost, correct?
no, that's total
That's
for
total.
everybody.
Total, okay, that's what I was trying to get to. That's what it was Pelican.
It's a
Okay.
shared cost.
Did anybody have anything on any of the capital's the only thing I had a question on. Does anybody have anything else? Obviously, the Pelican deal, we'll know when they come back what their side and what changes they want.
So,
But we won't know that until the 21st.
correct. So one of the things that we can do for your next meeting is put together that list of those capital projects, and you guys can hack at it at the next meeting, because I don't want to spend staff time on projects that you're gonna nix. So we'll bring that back to you as part of the budget discussion at the next meeting.
Nix for this year.
We're not, yeah,
Now, all of these are parks, correct?
Yes.
So we don't have to worry about different silos or any of that stuff. So you should be able to take all of those, put them all, once you've got them distributed, whether they're a 5-year or a 10-year deal to get the bond. You should be able to put them all in one category and have an idea of what the impact on the rate is.
not
'Cause it's a
not
one-time
for the
cost.
proposed year, not for this proposed year. This would be a next year issue.
You mean at 27 instead of,
Yeah.
okay, I thought if we went for a bond to do this, you're gonna pay that first year's bond regardless.
You what we've done in at least the bond series that we just did, my own bond series.
Are you aware of this deal about the bank?
I heard, I apologize, I lost track of time working on our favorite topic, Santa Luz. But yes, I heard Stephen mention about going out to get quotes for 5-year, 10-year borrowing. The 10-year, I sent a text to Chelsea as I was driving, would require validation, or if we can use a prior validation, find room in there to issue a bond series.
My
with a
question
10-year
is,
maturity.
when does the first payment go? Would this,
Okay,
we're talking about $2 million. So if we would do $2 million of borrowing at 10 years,
It
for
depends,
example.
it depends on what you choose, if you choose a bond series or if you choose a bank, because we have to go to
Correct.
the bank and ask what their terms are.
The banks usually don't require capitalized interest.
Let me make
The
it
bond-
real easy. Which one requires us to pay at 26?
Well, the capitalized interest is typically part of a bond issue. So you have to set that aside. You have capitalized interest that goes over here to ensure you have enough to pay the first year's, at least P&I or interest debt service. Steve, is that correct?
I don't know if he's on.
He's on.
Okay.
So that, yeah, I'm just trying to find out what is our order of magnitude of the amount that we have to add to Park and Rec in 2026?
I suggest Stephen can do that calculation, assuming, based upon the interest rates he articulated for the 10-year borrowing, and figure out what the capitalized interest would be if we were able to tap into a prior validated bond and issue a series under that bond.
Go ahead, Stephen.
Yeah, so to Tony's point, the capitalized interest would be included in the bond funds. So those would be set up when that bond is issued. So most likely you would not have an impact. Like Chelsea was saying, the last bond we did, there was no impact for about a year, year and a half, in terms of having to assess additional money that was already in the bond for 2 payments. So most
You're
likely.
including the interest during construction you're capitalizing it into the bond. So if you need 2 million and you gotta have capitalized interest, you just made it 2 million plus.
Right, because I mean, this is very simple from the mechanics of this, getting it on a roll, going through the budget process, doing all that stuff.
That can get us to 2027. Okay, I see.
Exactly.
But still be nice to know what the numbers are.
Yep.
Anybody have anything else on,
I'll bring up one other thing. We are wrapping up the last stormwater basin cleaning. Atlantic Southern Pipe started a week or so ago. To my knowledge, this should be the last basin because we've touched every single one since I've been here. I don't know what we're gonna find. Truth be told, because Hampton Park is part of this basin and we have not CCTV'd it since turnover. So that could be a fracture.
Are you talking about the pipe itself?
The stormwater, yes. the
Stormwater pipes?
Yeah, so I don't know if there's gonna be any large capital repairs for that.
Broken pipes, crushed pipes, that kind of stuff.
Yes, so that is the only other kind of outstanding in the back of my mind, large capital thing that could come up. Knock on wood.
That would be an emergency though.
Well, I want to make sure, we talking about pipes or the pond structures, banks, embankments and all that?
Pipes.
Pipes,
Just pipes.
pipes.
Like head walls and pipes and.
I would hope that with this being in, what, 10 years? 10, 11 years, we wouldn't have that issue. Was WCI involved?
That was not public information.
Now you know why I'm concerned.
Can you just remind me from the lake bank restoration, we've got how many remaining
Okay.
lakes?
So, under contract, we have, I'm talking Gateway side, I'm not
Yeah.
talking Pelican side. We have 2 under contract that are gonna be done next year, and those are both the Daniels Preserve. We have, under the HMGP $1 million grant, we are in design of 21 ponds. And those 23 together will finalize that priority list that we set 3 years ago.
The red,
So we
green,
would technically
yellow, and
be
orange.
done
Yes.
after that, and we just go and spot
Unless
repairs.
we
Then
went
then
out.
we go back to maintenance, which we never did.
Or, depending what the situation is, look at the ponds that didn't make the first list.
Exactly.
Because now they've
Or-
degraded X number of years.
Or look at the ponds that didn't make the first hit because they were not residential.
Yes.
We got a bunch
Well,
of
whatever it
issues
is,
on
I just-
commercial and golf course.
Well, that residential, I mean, the commercial's really easy for me. We don't do it.
Well, but there's additional conversations, okay?
Yeah, I agree, I totally agree.
And then the site here for you, for Public Works, how close are you to designing? We got a solution.
So we're gonna have the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, come back to you guys hopefully at your next meeting. The counties, yeah, I know, cross our fingers, Tony, we've only been working on it for like a year. Once that MOU is in place, we're golden. The design is at 90%. There's a couple minor tweaks. They have to
It's just a building out here.
yeah, they have to
And we're talking about, is it modular like this one?
exactly, pretty much that mirrored same thing. The only thing is because we changed the site locations, they have to do a little bit of site work determination, so we're gonna be close, but that's already been funded through the 2023 bond series. So we have the funding, financing to do that.
Hey, understanding what we're doing with the basins, is one of the last ones. If we have a program in place, or have we thought about having a program in place, that once that's completed, once you know what all your pipes, then we now have a system, we're cleaning the catch basins, the mitered end sections, inspecting them. Because if you do that, we're talking nickels instead of dollars. But if you keep your catch basins and your mitered end sections clean, you'll never get a dirty pipe.
Especially the end section.
Do we have a program? We have it in Pelican, it's worked great. It's about 80 grand a year we pay, something like that. And I want to make sure we do something like that over here. It's not just clean the pipes and you're done.
So, as it sits right now, we know what our problem children pipes are, or our inlets are, so we hit those every year before rainy season, we get eyes on those. We are this close to finalizing all of our stormwater pipes and inlets and outfalls and everything in Cartograph. Once it's in there, we will have a legit program and maintenance schedule we can put in place and identify the different assets throughout the entire community.
So you'll know that which catch basin is 3 feet, which one is 6 feet, which
Yes.
one is 8 feet.
Yes.
Well, the other one along that line is that we need a program going around, like we're supposed to be doing, 10% of all of our basins being cleaned annually, especially where the debris goes into them. The most of them all have divider plates. Go in and get those things cleaned.
We started that way.
Our basins are horrible.
We went away from it simply because when you clean the catch basin, everything else just goes away. If you keep them clean, you're good.
That's what you gotta do.
Chelsea, I've got, I don't know how unpopular this is, but our roads are continue to deteriorate at a very high rate, in my opinion. I mean,
When
we
you
get
say
more-
our roads.
Our roads.
When you say.
I'm sorry, the county's roads that
Okay,
reside
thank
within
you.
our community.
Okay, thank
Let me
you.
revise that. The county roads that reside within our community.
And guess why they're dying?
I mean, it's
Our
our
infrastructure.
potholes and
Our
like-
trees.
Have we, I know we've talked about it before, and I just cannot recall, what, if the county has a plan for any type of surfacing or any type of work?
They have a 5-year and 10-year CIP plan. I don't know that I can go look and see if Gateways and Griffin are on it, but in the meantime, we RFA the heck out of them.
So, and can
They
you
will-
also just send our local councilman a nice little note saying it has come to your attention that there needs to be some additional due diligence done on the quality of the road surfacing in Gateway, and would love his support, and for him to come out and take a look at it, maybe meet with you.
You gotta watch that. That's throwing out a boomerang that I guarantee you is gonna come back.
Come
You
do
go
an
down,
assessment
you
and
go down Gateway Boulevard, and the wear and tear of that road is because of our trees. Look at those curbs. The curbs are in horrible condition. Just as recently as 2 years ago, we did this stuff and did patches.
oh, we did it just
Well,
this week.
I would much rather have the county come to me and say, hey, we have a plan on our CIP to resurface your roads. However,
You gotta do this.
here's, okay, well, let's at least sit
That's
down
what
at the
they'll
table and
do.
have that conversation, as opposed to just keeping these potholes and different quality and curbing, and it's just really.
Gateway Boulevard on the curb side is horrible. Horrible.
And it's just patch after patch after patch.
It's patch after patch.
Okay, that was my soapbox one.
Anything else?
I don't have anything else.
The last thing, we talked about possible aeration in the future, we're gonna have a workshop, and we got any tentative schedule time to do that? Yeah, aeration.
We put it, I think we talked about putting it in January, because staff has to
So
do
it won't
some,
impact next year's budget.
no.
We
We do have some funding available in the bond, remaining for like bathymetric surveys, to get the ball rolling on
That's
this
totally
area.
separate, okay.
Yeah.
As long as we're not gonna do any aeration until we have the workshop,
Correct,
that's fine.
correct.
It would be nice to have the bathymetrics when the ponds were down. But the thing we've got is we still haven't, unless somebody's doing it behind the scenes, we've got to have FPL get out here and tell us what this is, what this entails as far as they're providing power. Because right now, over at Gateway and Gateway Greens, we have gone out with them on several issues, and they just sit there and say, the transformer isn't big enough, transformer isn't big enough. I mean, they have got absolutely no growth in those transformers at all.
And that is happening behind the scenes, which is why so we've got the trunk line ponds identified. We've got what we believe the transformers to be identified, so staff is
So
going to
somebody been out doing it, because I've not seen anybody, at least on my street, and I know I'm gonna have a transformer deal in my backyard.
We've got to get a meeting with FPL to sit down and go over that. That's why I think we asked, like, give us some time and let's talk about it in January.
Okay.
Anybody have anything else on, the budget workshop?
No, we didn't do much. So we get version 5.
We got a lot of ideas. Okay, well, let's do this. We'll adjourn the budget workshop at 2:55 and reconvene at 3 o'clock at the normal meeting.